Hey, hope you're doing well today, guys. A bit exhausted today. Had to walk a bit. Went to the gym. It was pretty intense. I didn't sleep that much. Anyways, hope you have been having a nice day. That you are having a nice day, depending on where you are looking at from. Anyways, today is like the backstory parts 2 stream. I just started uploading the videos on YouTube. It's scheduled. And as I've been mentioning some stuff like about my years of experience and stuff like that, but didn't take the time to talk about that. Just for the YouTube videos, I'm gonna make that stream and put it just after the first backstory part. This way it's a bit more convenient to get the full-blown story. So yeah, last time... I'll decrease the sound a bit. Last time we talked about my backstory from art school to basically my first job. And now I'm gonna talk more about the professional part. There have been some stuff that I've been skipping in between my art school and my first job, and I'm gonna tell that, and I'm gonna talk basically until now about what has been going on in my career and stuff like that. And this is to illustrate my kind of weird transition from in-house, in-company, to being a freelancer. And it might sound weird because I've never been staying for more than 6 months in a company. Not because I was a problematic person, but because it was not going well. But it's 100% a me problem. It's like, hey, I'm not suited for that. It took me a lot of time to realize that. You know, when you have a problem, generally, this problem keeps coming back and back and back and back in different contexts with different people at different times. Only common point, I mean, at least in my case, it was me. It was not the companies, it was not the project, it was not the people. They were all different. The only common point was me. I was like, yeah, it's this kind of work is definitely not for me. It's not bad. It's very good, actually. It's very comfortable. But I don't have a personality suited for that. I need to deal with that. And yeah, you will see, basically. So yeah, a small disclaimer. Before, my professional background has not been chaotic or problematic by any means, but it has not been smooth sailing either. I'm assuming that pretty much no one has had a smooth sailing career in that industry. I don't know anyone who had that. Second one, I love pretty much all the companies and the clients that I've been working at and for. And the fact that I decided to change my horizon is by no means a sign that these are bad companies. On the contrary, they are very good companies. I've only got, except one that we mentioned, but I won't call the name. Except one company, I only got objectively awesome experience. It's just that, as you will see pretty soon, I'm not someone made for the corporate world. Even though I understand it very well, I can navigate it pretty well now. But at the time, it was definitely not for me. And I was too busy and not in the mood to navigate it. And today I'm like, no, I'm not coming back into big companies. At least studios. No problem to work for big companies, but back into the studio environment, no. I'm loving working from home with my cat, managing my own time as I want. I love the freedom that freelance is giving. And I'm never sending that back. So yeah, I'm a full-blown introvert. I like being in my room alone with my cat, with my computer, no one disturbing me. I like being in my flow state. And working at companies with all the meetings, the people around that are constantly chatting with you, asking you for stuff. You need to do teamwork and stuff like that. It's not bad at all. It was very hard for me to remain in my flow state, which takes at least for me a lot of time to get into the zone. Depends on people, but for me it takes like at least 40 minutes before getting in the flow. And every time someone is breaking that, it takes me like 20 to 30 minutes to get back in the flow. So it was not possible. So let's start in 2015. I was still at school. And I was working for one of my teachers already, Richard Dumont. Awesome guy. He was working now at the school at the time, but before he worked at Guerrilla Games. He worked on Horizon Zero Dawn, Deus Ex, Killzone. He was working at Eidos Montreal too on Deus Ex. So he made Deus Ex, Killzone, Horizon. I don't know what he's doing now, but probably killing it as always. And this guy was making me work for him basically, secretly. It was nice. It was from home. It was my first ever paid task. So I had to do my freelance paperwork in order to get established and get the freelance status legally as someone to pay me. Was between the end of 2015 and early 2016. I was starting to quit school already. And my teacher was working on a small project with a bunch of his ex-colleagues from Guerrilla Games and Eidos. He was asking me to do some 3D assets and blockouts for his 3D prototype. I've never seen the prototype. I don't even know the name of the project. I don't know if it's still going on or not. It was cool. It was some kind of post-apocalyptic game similar to Fallout 4, and it was pretty cool. The second task was still with him. It was in 2016 for a game called Prodigies, a studio in Paris called Anakai Studio. Had some environment design to do. It was some sort of underground places with some big statues, some cliffs, some architecture and stuff like that. And yeah, it was pretty nice. And my ex-teacher was kind enough to basically review and do some paint over on my work before sending it to the client. This way we are making sure that it was up to the client expectation and making sure that as a first experience, I would not basically freak out like, oh my God, the client, I don't know what he wants. It was a way for the teacher to protect himself because he was vouching for me. Protect himself, to not deliver bad work. To also protect me from the stress. So it was a very smooth, nice first task. And I got paid, so it was cool. Second chapter. The studio I shall not name, that shall not be named. Let's call it R Studio. At the same time, it was both very weird, very creepy, and very cool. As I told in an other stream, I did pretty much all the mistakes you can make while being in the industry all at once in that studio, right from the start. So it was a huge lesson. And since then, I'm glad I never made those mistakes again. I made one once again, and I kind of regret it. I'm going to talk about it. But yeah, it's kind of protecting you from all the bad mistakes you can make. Just need to make the mistakes once, get burnt a bit, and this way you kind of know that you should not do that anymore after. So this was a very weird experience. So all the mistakes were made. Working without a proper signed contract, check. Having to bring my own PC and monitor to work there, check. Not being paid, check. Working overtime and crunching at night, check. Having to sneak through the windows at night to enter the building where it was forbidden to crunch at night, check. Go to some convention for free to advertise for the project, check. Whew! That's pretty bad.
Stupid.
I was like that. I was very naive. The founder of the studio, he was my unquote my godfather at school. We had a godfather and pupil system. Basically, when you are in second year, you take one of the people in the first year and you're basically helping and coaching that person. You have like a, yeah, basically godfather, godmother from higher classes to help you. And it was this guy for me. He was very good at digital painting. We had kind of the same taste in terms of music, style, what we liked, mentality. We were kind of rebel together. So we found each other very well at the time. He was like a big brother to me at the time. I was very admiring his work. He was very good. And no teacher were trusting him. And he quit during the second year. So I was relating a lot to that guy. We had a pretty similar background. And basically one day, it was in summer 2015, I posted a picture I made. The guy instantly messaged me like, hey man, I like what you did. You want to work on a video game? Like, woo! Wow. Like, of course. Of course. I don't know about you, but as a student, I was kind of pissed by school, as I told. And I just wanted to work on a game as soon as possible. I wanted to quit school and work on something real as soon as possible. And this guy gave us, me and the other people working there, exactly that. We are all these kind of rebel students, kind of good in our own ways. We are just looking for an excuse to drop out from school and to work on something. We just were too hungry and too thirsty, and we just wanted to work on something real instead of working for school projects. Of course, I accepted immediately. I was visiting the studio, the quote-unquote studio, seeing a bit of the project in 2015. I probably did few stuff, few freebies in 2015, already some background and stuff like that. I remember I just got a new laptop I was using at school, and I had to buy some more RAM sticks to do the project for them. It was weird. And it was only a few months later that I realized that everyone else working on the project was kind of similar to me, some kind of very motivated and hungry kids, kind of rebel mindset. We were pissed by the school and we wanted to work on a game as soon as possible. Give us exactly what we wanted, and this guy was... This is a profile. We're going to have a discussion about that at some point, about the dangerous profiles in the industry, or the archetypes of the industry. And this one is definitely one you need to recognize. It's someone able to sell you and to hype you on nothing. He's able to persuade, not convince. Convincing someone is with reason, persuade is with emotions. He's very good at persuading you to believe in that project and to get hyped. He was kind of creating some cults. Now I have read a lot of books about marketing and stuff like that, and he was using that to the latter, to persuade us, to hype us, to get us emotionally invested in the project, to get us to work for free, basically. He was a very, very predatory person. Like the narcissist pervert archetype, he was this kind of guy, basically. So... yeah, we were working on that project. It was very small, but he was able to make us think it was going to be big. We're all convinced that it was like a hidden gem in the rough. It's going to explode and become massive. We truly believed that at the time. There was a lot of fear of missing out about that project. Like, hey, of course, if you don't want to be part of that big project, just quit. No problem. You're working... you're not paid, you have no obligation, but this is a big project. You want your name on the generic, isn't it? So we were working like that. And of course, he promised that he will pay us. Of course. The goal at the beginning was to make a prototype, to make a Kickstarter, and then thanks to the money for the Kickstarter, he will pay us, and it will be able to leverage money to further develop the game, basically. Give me a sec. So yeah, And as I had my freelance status done since 2015, it was good. I was like, okay, I'm going to be paid. He wrote it to me. There's some proof, whatever. So pretty soon, 2016, I dropped the school around March to work full time there. I worked for a few months till around June. I had some very, very good friends working there too. So it was kind of a dream. It was 100% anti-school. I liked it because I was pissed at the school. We were kind of robots, listening to metal every day in the studio. It was very cool. Honestly, it was very cool. The atmosphere overall was very cool. It was chill. We were eating outside tonight. We were playing video games after work, listening to metal all day, chatting, doing some cool stuff. We are convinced that it was going to pay off, basically. Pretty quick, this project got noticed by Square Enix. No joke about that. And we basically registered to a module that they are doing, which is called the Square Enix Collective. I don't know if it still exists, but basically it was basically a way for them to take some indie project under their wings and to help them develop the product. So we registered to that. We got selected pretty fast. So we are like, oh my god, indeed our product is big, it has potential. That's a gem in the rough. We need to stick to that. So it kind of reinforced that belief to us. One day around the end of May, we got a big news. We got some message on your Facebook group like, hey guys, tomorrow 9 a.m. everyone at the studio, I have big news. We're like, oh my god, what is that? And we just got the news. Square Enix invited us at E3 to talk about the game. So when you are like a 19-year-old kid, you're like, like that. So we are pretty hyped. They were willing to pay for 4 or 5 passes for E3. So basically you have access to the convention. You can talk to everyone, get honest and stuff like that. We made some visit card in emergency. We paid so much money for them because we had to get them in like 3 days. And we had to pay for the plane tickets and the Airbnb there in LA during E3 on your own. So it costed something like 6k euros per person coming there. I didn't come because it was too much, but some people did. They were bringing some bags of pastas in their bags, in their travel bags to not pay for the food. They rented an Airbnb and I slept at 5 in a 2-bedroom Airbnb. It was kind of mad. But from France, we were watching them talking about the project at E3 during Microsoft's presentation. So basically nobody watched the presentation. But still we were hyped. It was like, hey, our studio is at E3. We are part of big guys. We're wearing the big boys pants. That's so big. We're so hyped. It really, again, reinforced that belief that we were working on something that is going to be big. So, back in France, we're working again to finish the demo in order to start the Kickstarter. It was in June. We started to get in touch with more and more other studios which were at From Software. They were not interested because they just want to do their own stuff, but they greet us, they send us a congratulation message, and they were like, hey, keep going, guys, this is good. It was, wow, From Software, they have noticed me senpai, basically. Then we sent it to Bandai Namco. We got in touch with the CEO of the studio, or the producer, or whatever, but some very C-level people. They're pretty excited. We got a lot of French streamers streaming the demo and stuff like that, so we are pretty excited. Bandai Namco was about to sign some of the first paycheck for the studio, and for whatever obscure reason, the director of our studio told us that he politely told them to go to hell, as he did for Square Enix after E3. We didn't have the exact reason, so it was kind of strange, but we are trusting him. Of course, when you're working for free, your parents are starting to freak out, rightfully so. And as I had to focus on getting my portfolio done for Ubisoft or to find a real job paying with real money before the end of 2016, I had to quit basically. I was amongst the first one to quit. A lot of people then quit it too and found jobs that were pretty quick and real money after. So our relationships with the director of that studio got worse and worse because I was always asking him, hey man, now that you have money, are you willing to pay me finally as you promised? He was like, eh. He was always finding an excuse to say no, basically. So I got pissed. Raising the tone, raising the voice. At some time we were starting to threaten each other. Rightfully so, but at the same time there was no contract, so it was only written words and stuff like that. So it was kind of a crazy situation. One evening, I don't know why, I got invited by this guy, the director of the studio, in his own apartment to negotiate properly. It was just before the Kickstarter. It was happening in December. There was like 5 of his friends that I never heard of. I didn't know them. They're kind of weird. There was only one of my friends. It was my best bud in the apartment. So we were a lot of people. It was very scary. I was like, am I going to get killed or robbed or threatened with a knife or a gun? What? So shady. It was super shady. And we kind of negotiated the price. We agreed in front of everyone without signing any paper, of course, because I'm stupid. Then they did the Kickstarter that I worked a lot on when I was still at the studio. I worked a lot on the Kickstarter structure. They raised around 110k, which was their stretch goal, the first stretch goal. I later discovered years after that they brought like 15k to the table at the end just to make sure the Kickstarter was good. Otherwise it would have failed and I would have not get any money, which is kind of stupid in some way because with the VAT you lose like 25k already plus the Kickstarter fees. You lose like 15 more k. So they paid money to pay even more money after. It was kind of weird, but anyways. From the outside, it was a success. From the inside, it was a catastrophe because there was pretty much no money. Everything would be sucked out by the taxes, the VAT, the Kickstarter fees, and then the pledges. Yeah, Frank Kitty. So it was kind of bad. And they never paid me. But they were able to flex, hey, we are getting a new building for the studio. We are painting everything in red and stuff like that. We were making some photos. They didn't pay a lot of other people that were working at my time. And they are still existing today, 6 years after. And now they have that very shady reputation of working thanks to interns. And they are swapping every 2.5 months. So basically in France, if you're an intern, you're working less than 3 months, you don't have to be paid. So that's how you make a game, crappy game in few years by making a shitty Kickstarter, not paying pretty much anyone, thanks to interns from school, and sucking the government subvention and aid for creative companies. So it was a pretty bad experience in the end, but it was pretty fun times. Honestly, I don't regret anything, and that's this experience that I decided to put as a line on my resume for Ubisoft. I was like, this is a legal studio. I worked there. There's some proof. There's no contract, but there are some proof. This is one of my only experiences. This is still an experience. I still worked on a video game. I was making some assets that were creating the game. This is still a bit of experience. I got so scared when at Ubisoft they asked me, what if we call them on the phone right now and we ask them about what I think about you? Like, holy shit, please don't. Because it was starting to get heated. My parents were starting to get involved to threaten those guys. Like, we're gonna get a lawyer, we're gonna sue you. No, please don't. So it was pretty chaotic. It was Ubisoft. End of the year, I got in touch with Ubisoft at the end of 2016 on the phone 2 days before Christmas. It was fantastic. I did my art test on 4th of January 2017. Then you get the story. I got hired for March 2017. I was so excited. I moved there. Then on the first day I joined, March 24th, 2017. Maybe 2 hours after I started, for a reason that was unknown to me at the time, I already wanted to quit. The company was awesome, objectively awesome. It was not bad. The company was taking care of us so well with there was an amazing cafeteria, some bakery, some croissants, some pain au chocolat, some fruits for free, some coffee and tea for free all day long. It was at will. Eat what you want. There was some parties pretty much every month. Like some corporate buffet and stuff like that with food and stuff like that and goodies. There was a fuck ton of goodies. I got tons of games for free for me and my friends and my family. I got a fantastic papyrus poster from Assassin's Creed Origins that I offered to one of my friends. Is one of the few models that have been made. It was for the company and one of my friends has it. It be sold for a fortune on eBay. Yeah, we were being treated so well. We had some flexible hours, a lot of advantages outside of work. But I was a social monster at the time. And I had to be in my bubble. It was too distracting for me. Everyone, there was someone soliciting me. I was like, get away from me. I just want to walk, please. It was kind of tough. But it was a fantastic experience still. My lead was adorable. It's called Edward Marinov. He's a guy who worked on Destiny before. And I fucking love Destiny so much. The concept artist Hugo was adorable dude. He was like a great brother to me. Touched me from the first day till the day he quit 4 months after. He finished his contract 4 months after I joined. Basically, he had just started 2 months before I joined. And he wanted to establish himself as a freelancer. So basically, the last 2 months were just with my lead and me together. I learned so much from him. He was basically one of those guys still drawing on paper and scanning it and coloring it. He did some storyboard before and stuff like that. He was a very heavy traditional guy. I was the very heavy modern techniques like photo bashing, 3D and stuff like that. So we were able to cross knowledge. He told me so much about composition and stuff like that because he was a storyboard artist first. So he taught me a lot about composition and framing and perspective and dynamic stuff. I was teaching him about 3D and ZBrush and some photo bashing and stuff like that. He was adorable. He was an adorable guy. And also that lead, he was very kind to me because he knew that I was okay working on Steep and Rider Republic, the very early development of Rider Republic. But judging by my portfolio, he knew that I wanted to be on Assassin's Creed, on For Honor, or on Ghost Recon Division, something like that, as I applied for at the beginning. And he tried to help me so much for so long to move in another studio, like in Bordeaux, in Canada, and stuff like that, to work on like For Honor or Assassin's Creed or something like that. He knew I was able to do that. But unfortunately, there was no room available for me, so I had to stick to Steep. At the end of my contract, I got the meeting with the HR that wanted to renew my contract and pay me more. I was like, I'm sorry, but I'm very thankful for your offer, but I won't accept that. Because I know it's on Steep. I know it's kind of hard for you to find people that stay for long on Steep, and I totally acknowledge and respect that. I know it's hard for you. Unfortunately, I think I'm kind of done with that. I'm starting to get bored a bit by always doing the same thing. So I'm kind of stuck because if I stay, I know I will be stuck on Steep. There won't be any opportunities for me to change my project. And the other thing I can do is take a risk, which is basically to not accept the renewal of my contract, work on a new portfolio and apply elsewhere, even if it's another Ubisoft company. They are not really expecting that kind of speech, and me being able to see that I was kind of stuck there because it was hard for them to keep people working on Steep. It was a lot of juniors and stuff like that as a first project. But pretty fast they were able to move on other project, or to, once they are trained, they are moving elsewhere. The Steep way. It's snowboarding game, so unless you really like it, generally when you are in art school, you want to do dragons and explosions and military robots and stuff like that. Not tree and snow and snowboarding gear. But this is fine, this game is fine. And they were aware of that, and they knew it would be a difficulty for the project itself. So yeah, I ended my contract. It was over. I didn't renew. I got the unemployment aid for 6 months while being back at my mom's home, and I did my portfolio, plus I paid my student loans. In the meantime, at the end of 2017, I got in touch with my old school, and there was a change of the direction and stuff like that. The director was one of the few teachers that believed in me, and he hired me to teach exactly what I got fired for 1 year ago. That's kind of a sweet revenge. It was kind of funny. Teaching what they were telling me was cheating 1 year ago. But now that there was Ubisoft on my resume, they were like, okay, we need to change our mind. They admit that we were wrong, that those techniques are valuable. This first year that I was teaching at Belcourt was kind of weird because I had some of my ex-classmates as students now. Because some of my ex-classmates, when I was in second year, they didn't pass the year, so they had to redo the second year instead of going to the third one. So the third one were still studying at school, and I didn't have them as students. But the ones that had to redo the second year, I got them as students. So a few of them, like 2 or 3 of them. It's kind of funny. One of them, Quentin Gillier, he listened so hard that he got a job at Ubisoft after on the division. He was able to succeed where I get the job I couldn't get in the first place. So huge respect to Quentin. But basically, yeah, I was teaching my techniques, and we did a simulation of the artist that we got at Ubisoft. And Quentin crushed it, and he got his job at Ubisoft thanks to that. It's exactly the same subject. That's cool. So he had already done it, and he nailed it, and got hired. It was the end of 2017. Also, end of 2017, I got hired for few illustration by Netflix UK. It's not the big Netflix like Love, Death and Robot and stuff like that. It's a very small studio working for Netflix UK. They were doing some documentaries about Arthurian legends called Myth and Monsters. And he did a few illustrations, like old paintings, animate them. I did them a bit like my Charging Knights that you can see on my art station. It was pretty cool because there was Darek Zabroki, Wojtek Fus, and Greg Witkowski on the project. I never got in touch with them, but I'm kind of proud having worked on the same project as Greg Witkowski. I'm sorry if I'm butchering his name. I'm probably It was pretty cool. I never saw the documentaries though. It's probably very low budget, but anyways, it's in Netflix on the resume, so it's pretty cool. I have my line on IMDb now. That's pretty cool. It was the end of 2017. Then 2018, I was back at my mom's home, as I said, getting the unemployment aid while working a bit of freelance, and also paying my student loans and doing my portfolio. In the meantime, I was doing my portfolio. It was still March. I was working at a local music recording studio called Sun Tzu Records. It's by a very, very old and good friend of mine. Let me check that on YouTube. It's by this guy, Todo. Very, very good friend of mine. Very old friend, one of my oldest friends. Now he's running a big YouTube channel with over 100k subscribers. He's doing some Eru, the Chinese violin. He's doing a shit ton of covers, a shit ton of concerts. He's running a wonderful recording studio. He's producing metal, rap, electro, classical music and stuff like that. It was fantastic. I worked with him on his with his band. His band called Titans Fall Harder. I made a lot of visuals for them. I was helping him on his videos and stuff like that. It was pretty nice. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty cool. Pretty different experience. This was 2018. I was also doing some freelance for YouTuber, for YouTube channel and tabletop RPG bookmaker called Guys Clanders. On YouTube, you can find him on the channel called How to Be a Great GM. He's a staple in the tabletop RPG world now. He has been crafting a lot of books. I was in touch with him right at the beginning when he was making his first books. I worked a lot with him, making a lot of illustration for different of his books. So this was basically my year 2018. I finished my portfolio around March. Got to IAMAG in Paris in 2018. And it was pretty nice. Pretty nice. I met a lot of new people. Got in touch with like Raphael Lacoste. Got me his own personal email address for me to send him my portfolio and for him to give him to some HR. Some HR from Montreal wanted to hire me. Unfortunately, it was not as a concept artist, it was as a promotional artist. And I was good friend with the guy doing the promotional art at Ubisoft Annecy, and I was like, this is not for me. This is not for me. Making some graphic design for some person on Facebook and social media, it's not for me, unfortunately. It has changed now, it's a bit better. Some very nice illustrations, but at the time I was not very excited about that. Plus, I was not excited about moving to Canada. So I refused. I got in touch, and every 6 months Ubisoft Montreal is still sending me something. It's kind of funny. But yeah, this was 2017. 2018, sorry. I also got in touch with Axis Studio. It was pretty cool. They have some pretty good friends and other studios. This was 2018. Then in the summer, I did industry workshops. Same, I got in touch with the guys at ALM, at Framestorm and stuff like that. It was so nice. I got so many great advice. It made me level up a lot. I couldn't land a job in those big companies because it was, as coming from the video game industry, it was the movie industry, it was so big. So I did Sun Tzu Records, a lot of freelance for tabletop RPG books as an illustrator and stuff like that. And it was fine. Paid kind of well this year, but I was at my mom's home. At the end of 2018, I was a bit tired. It was a bit rough. I was like, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm going to stop doing some freelance, doing some concept art and stuff like that. I'm gonna do some professional painting of miniatures. I've been painting miniatures for years. I've been running some commissions during 2018 to paint some Warhammer armies and stuff like that. It was painting kind of well. I was like, hey, why not running that full time? I was starting to make my website, my landing pages and stuff like that. This is the first time it was called Owlbear Factory, by the way. It's the old name of the channel. So this is the origin story for Owlbear Factory. It's supposed to be my miniature painting and basically high-level craftsmanship for wargamers and tabletop RPGs. So I was like making maps. I'm still making a lot of maps right now as an illustrator for books and stuff like that. Some big... Let me share my screen. Give me a sec. And settings. Up. Let me share my screen again. Wants to load. There we go. But basically some stuff like that. Some ginormous map. This doesn't seem like much, but then you zoom. There's so much stuff to do. Map is huge. I've been making a lot of them recently. And since 2018. So I was like, yeah, let's make some maps, some miniature painting, some miniature sculpting, some healing potion and accessories for fortunate D&D players. And it was promising, to be honest. I got some nice commission of painting some armies and stuff like that. Just as I was about to launch my my website about that and to start doing that more seriously, I got an email from Quantic Dream. They loved my portfolio. They wanted to hire me. I was like, oh shit, here we go again. 2019, I moved to Paris. Working at Quantic Dream was nice. It was very nice. It was very chill. There was a bunch of introverts in my block where I was, so I was not disturbed. I was able to stay in my zone for days. It was nice. It was very chill. Project was nice. They wanted me to bring what I was good at into the project, so it was pretty good. There's a bunch of very talented people too, so it was a huge honor to be considered that I was decent enough to work amongst those guys, like Aurélien Fournier, Bastien Grivet, Jessica Rossier, guys like that. Like, whoa, I just have some experience at Ubisoft and doing some illustration for games and stuff like that. And I'm working with big actors in the industry. Wow, that's a lot. I was also able to raise my salary by quite a lot, from 2.3k to 3.2 as a salary. It was pretty nice. As a freelance, I could have asked for like 7k per month easily, but 8k. It was amazing. At least for me when I was 22. So yeah, I was pretty happy about that. It was Quantic Dream. Living in Paris was pretty hard. I was in the bad periphery of Paris, the bad suburbs. Pretty big cultural shock for someone coming from a small village. With only a very small village with very rich people, though. And we were one of the few middle class to lower class people, because my mom was teaching there. So she got an apartment offer while she was teaching there. It was only lawyers, doctors, architects, and very rich people. So it's like the safest place in France, basically. I moved to the suburbs. It was very different culture. It was a pretty big cultural shock. There's some gas bottle which exploded 30 meters away from my home. It was quite a lot. I was glad that the few remaining months I was able to do that from home, back to mom's home, basically. Then at the end of the contract, I was able to get some unemployment aid again. I was back at mom's home. I was like, okay, I will go again. Let's redo a portfolio. I worked a bit on my portfolio, but at the same time, I was doing a lot of freelance. Still for tabletop RPG books, I was able to make pretty good money at the time, to be honest. Plus, I was teaching at Belco again, my old school. So, yeah, it was very good in terms of money, but I was stuck at my mom's home. I was like, hey, you know what? 2020, I'm going to move. I'm going to be 25 years old. Yeah, I'm going to move. Oh, previously I said 23 years old. So it was probably 24 years old. Anyways, whatever. So I was like, yeah, 2020, I'm moving, I'm getting my own apartment. Plus, by the end of 2019, I want to transition fully to freelance. Because Quantic Dream, even though it was way calmer because there was way less people than at Ubisoft, I was still like, hey, you know what? I prefer working at home. Company is amazing. The people are very nice, very kind. There was a huge load of benefits working there, aside from the financial aspect. Plus, it's very prestigious. So I was like, hey, despite all those advantages, I'm gonna still go back home and work from home. Because I'm so much more productive at home. I can unpack like one day of work in 4 hours. On my own computer, I can chill, I can listen to my own music and can work on my own rhythm. That's better. So back to mom's home, transition to freelance, working for a lot of small tabletop RPG companies, making maps, illustration for D&D books. It's at mom's home, but I really start to hate it and I want to move. So 2020, I had a lot of plans with companies. I had a lot of clients at the beginning of the year. I was thinking it was fine. On paper, it was bringing me enough money to get my own apartment, to cover the bills and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, let's do it. March 2020, 2 days before signing the paper and surprising my entire family, like, hey, I have my apartment in Lyon. Let's move. That's a surprise. COVID. And lockdown. So, first of all, it cancels my apartment. So I'm like, there's no way I'm getting locked down while taking my first flight this way. There's no way. Plus, it canceled a lot of my clients because at the beginning of lockdown, a lot of companies were freaking out like, oh, will we be able to survive? Now it proved that 80% of companies can work perfectly with freelancer and people working remotely, so that's not a problem anymore. But at the beginning, it was very hard. So it canceled a lot of my clients. So I was like, okay, glad I didn't sign because I would have been locked down without being able to pay. So, cancels everything. I'm pissed. Every client I was working with starting to close business, to drop me for a reason. Because I was doing bad work, but just because, hey, it's the beginning, so we are shutting everything down. The only new client I got was NetEase in China. They paid very well. So it's like, okay, let's treat them pretty well too. Let's act very well with them. That's why I started doing the graphs about my fear that I was talking about in the previous stream. If you are watching on YouTube, you will see that after that video. A bit after, 2 days after. I was like, okay, I need money I want to move. I desperately want to move. But for that, I need money and I need stable client. For that, I need to get better work done. For that, I need to learn something new. For that, I need to do a mentorship. So, end of May, I'm booking my mentorship with Jama. We are doing that between May and June. It's fantastic. At the same time, I'm starting to get my other mentor, my business mentor and coach. Starting to do some hypnosis sessions to work on myself pretty hard. Reconsider a lot of things that I was considering in my life. And by the end of July, I'm able to ask a lot more money to my Chinese clients. I'm getting more and more new clients. So, first NetEase, then Mood Publishing, then other tabletop RPG companies are coming back at the end of the year. I'm becoming a teacher in a new school called New Edge in Paris. If you're looking for a school in France, go there. Just go there. There's no question asked. New Edge is fantastic. And the freelance month, I made almost 18K while working from home. And I was like, holy shit. It was a lot of money. It was absolutely nuts for me at the time. Plus, as a freelancer in France, you are basically paying your taxes every 3 months. So the only paycheck that is, the only bills that is kind of legal to show for apartments is going 3 months of expenses. And it was like 18K. And 18K per month in France, it's a fuck ton of money. Some people are making 18K a year. The minimum wage in France is 18K a year. So it was a huge amount of money for a 25 years old kid. So I was like, okay, this is my chance. I have the stable clients. I have the mindset. I'm really pissed off at having been living at my mom's home for fucking years, and having been stuck for one more year. I don't want to be a 26 years old loser living in my mom's basement anymore with the same Nightwish poster that I had when I was 15, because all the time I'm telling myself, hey, it's just temporary. I don't have to work on my room. This is my chance. I have my clients, I have the mindset, I have the bill that is legally proving that I'm making serious buck at my age. This is my time. Early 2021, I'm moving. Keep working with NetEase Games. Keep working with Mood Publishing, with other smaller clients still. Then I'm moving to Lyon. I'm having 1 month to reestablish myself, still working at NetEase. Then I'm working for Happy Element, another outsourcing company working for NetEase. I'm working for Share Creators, another outsourcing company working for NetEase. I'm working for Conceptopolis, doing some work for official D&D and stuff like that. Then I'm working for Share Creators, and there's a cascade of clients coming to me. So NetEase, Conceptopolis, Share Creators, Happy Element. Some of the regular clients are coming back. Like, the guy is an historian writing historical novels. Want some illustration like every month. Still 1K per month. I'm taking that. It's done in like 1 day and a half. Taking that. Then there is Free Range Game, working on a fucking dream project with them. Love you guys. I fucking love you. I'm gonna miss you so much. Same with Share Creators and NetEase, who have been working on some very nice projects like Lord of the Rings Rise to War. It's a mobile game that I won't play, but they had the license from the movies. So I was making illustration like Lord of the Ring level with the visuals from the films. So it was so great. Then working back at New Edge teaching. And yeah, I'm full in terms of work in freelance. So I'm like, okay, that's possible. Now I almost have to refuse some clients. Plus, starting in February 2021 till around May, thanks to my mentor, my business mentor, who got me into crypto, I got interested into the NFT space. I was able to ride the hype bubble pretty well. And overnight, my first sale got sold out in a few hours. Second sale got sold out. So I made a lot of ETH. I was like, wow. And all that money in one night. Seeing pictures I already made, and people love that. Holy shit. This NFT stuff is big. So worked out on another series. Unfortunately, it was a bit too late, but I still made a few ETH, so I'm fine. It was profitable, but yeah, if I'm cultivating this small crypto bag, it will have a pretty big impact. And these NFTs kind of, and crypto in general, kind of derailed my career, to be honest. At the beginning of the year, I was like, okay, I'm going to work as a freelancer for pretty much the rest of my days. I still want to teach, want to mentor people and stuff like that. So I've been working on some stuff. But as soon as I started seeing NFTs, I was like, whew, it's probably possible to live out of my art without any clients. Up to today, that's still my main goal at the moment. So I still need to figure that out, to figure the NFT game pretty well. I've been able to ride the hype bubble when it was possible to do it. People made money out of that, so I'm fine with that. Problem is that now it's kind of more established. There are some rules, there are some mafias, let's say, some inner circles you need to be part of if you want to succeed. You need coding, you need way more leverage basically to succeed in the NFT space. So I need to figure that out, but I'm definitely interested by that. And I'm like, wow, that's a way to become a fully independent artist without any client. This will be the next stage for me, to be honest. That's for the future. And also I've been launching my overall streams. I'm going to teach people and stuff like that. So it's going to be pretty nice. If I check my evolution, just in terms of career, I went from Steep to working for indirectly for D&D, which is a dream of mine. And honestly, this year 2021, I've been making so much of my 10 years old me dreams. I've achieved so much of them. Like when I was a 10 years old kid, I wanted to work for Games Workshop. I did. For NetEase, we worked on a bit on Total War Warhammer. So huge 10 years old me dream achieved. I was dreaming of working on some Lord of the Ring project. I got one with NetEase and Share Creators. Plus I might have got another Lord of the Ring project for some other studios. I'm not talking about that. This is not the Amazon series, by the way. But yeah, fucking great. Fucking great. So another dream. In the video, if you're on YouTube, you will see it later. But I was talking about the goal and the dreams that you need to write at a present tense and stuff like that. One of them was getting my own apartment in Lyon, saved, secured. My cat achieved. Being able to teach a bit more too. So a lot of things have been done between 2020 and 2021. I know that 2020 has been a very weird and hard year for a lot of people, but for me at least it has been, I know it's gonna sound very weird, but it has been probably the best year in my life. And 2021 is even better actually. At least for me, on the personal development side and business development side. In terms of money, 2020, just in the last 6 months, I made more money than probably 2019 and 18 together. I basically almost tripled my incomes. In 2021, there are still a few months running, but and as there are some crypto gains, it's kind of hard to account for that. But on a business standpoint, I probably made more money than my entire family this year. This is absolutely huge for even for me. It's not to flex, but just that now I'm just seeing that I'm kind of on, it's kind of exponential. And I'm attributing most of the success of this last year to my mentorship, both with Jama and with my business mentor. It has really changed my mind and made me way more confident in taking risk and handling them properly. Again, this is not to flex at all. Don't want to buy Lambos or stuff like that. But yeah, this is cool. This is cool. Especially when we are working in art and parents are generally afraid that it's a job with no money. Can we even live out of our art and stuff like that? Yeah, you can. No problem. Freelance is possible. NFTs is changing the game. I'm going to do a presentation about NFTs, not to explain to you how to become the next NFT king, at least to have a like a zero level introduction to NFTs, what they are, what it means for artists, what it means for the industry and stuff like that. Because that, at least I can talk about it. I'm going to talk about it next week probably. But yeah, pretty cool. And now it's going up and up and up and up. It's going on the exponential tangent. I'm pretty happy about that. My next goals are to basically become a fully independent artist next to NFTs. And also to start my my channel, basically my YouTube and Twitch channel, build the community, and start teaching. Because even though this is not the most prestigious career in the world, there's no ILM, there's no Naughty Dog. There's still plenty of very nice names. New Age, Ubisoft, Quantic Dream, Games Workshop, D&D, Share Creator, Conceptopolis, Free Range Games, pretty big company, NetEase. I think for a 26 years old kid, that's kind of okay. But yeah, about the transition towards freelance, it was kind of tough, to be honest. When I decided to transition in 2019, it was way too early. And what I see now is that in end of 2020 and 2021, I had no resume to send. I was never sending email to anyone. It was always companies finding me without me having updated my portfolio in years. The lastest addition to my portfolio was what I did with my mentorship with Jama. I see people were hiring me for my older pieces in 2017. It's only my name working the network, people knowing my name and knowing what I do, having some insiders information about where I am at right now, what am I working for right now, waiting for me to finish, and then hiring me. So my biggest advice for those who want to start doing some freelance is, especially if you are starting in the industry, start in a big company, get your name and get a few big lines in your resume. Still, you need to get yourself noticed, so go to meetings and stuff like that, get yourself known. And progressively, eventually, people will start asking you for work. And you don't go from company to freelance instantly, you transition gradually from one stage to another. And basically, at some point, you know you can afford to transition when you have enough freelance clients to cover your needs. They're coming back regularly, you have signed contract over years for them. with them, sorry. But this is not something you can really force overnight. This is something that is establishing itself. Even at the end of 2020, even though I was starting to make money, I kind of freaked out at the beginning of 2021. Now I have enough regular clients to cover my needs, no problem, and I need to refuse them now to make them compete to get better and higher paying projects. But yeah, this is something that takes time. And even though freelance can bring you freedom, you need to make sure that you are not enslaved by the money aspect of it. You need to make sure that you live decently enough that you can sleep well at night without fearing whether you will or will not be able to pay your bills next month. For this you need safety. You need few different clients paying you regularly and pretty well. And this takes time. So honestly, if you want to go freelance, start in some big companies, change to another big company or two, get some very nice resume. This way you get trained into company too. And at some point, get back to always be sourcing, always be closing, always be shining. Always be sourcing. This way you get yourself noticed. Always be closing. You always say you are interested, that you are interested and you want to work with companies. Always be shining. This is another word in German, but let's say shining. You're always displaying new work, showing that you are productive, that you are busy and stuff like that. Basically, you're a rock star. Even if you stay very humble, but just show that you are busy working for people and that there's always someone wanting to work with you. This way, other companies are like, oh, if this person is working with that guy or that girl, it means that this person is reliable. We need to hire that person too. It's a good sign. And then this is exponential. Once you have few lines into resume, that's good. You're set. Here we go. So this is something that establishes itself with time, basically. Establishes itself with time, naturally. You allow that to be, and then you start filtering, become a bit more picky with your different clients, basically. You pick only the better paying job, the easier project. You can afford to stop working on some shitty work. There has been some shitty work in what I've been describing. I'm not talking about that, and the company are still nice. Just stuff that you don't like. It still pays the bills, so you are doing them anyway, but at some point it pays the bills, it pays the extra, plus you like it. So it's cool. Anyways, as there are any questions, we're gonna end today's stream. It's a bit shorter. Now you have basically the full portrait. I'm gonna stay for like 30 seconds to an additional minute. And then, yeah, I'm gonna stop. Anyways, no question in the chat. No one joining. I'm gonna stop the stream right now. As always, if you are watching on YouTube, you know the jazz. You need to play the algorithm, so like, subscribe. More important, follow us on Twitch. Come to join us to see the presentation live and interact with us. Chat with us. You can join us on Discord too down below. We're building a very nice community of very motivated people that want to put a dent in the industry and in the art world. We're gonna hatch them into professionals. Plus you can chat with me if you want, or with other people at the end of the stream. If you have questions, if you want to further discuss the content of today's presentation, of the upcoming presentations. You want to share some testimonies, or if you disagree with some stuff and you want to discuss, this way we can find some solutions together. You might see some stuff I've been missing. You might bring some different point of view on different stuff, and this is okay. Benefits the community. Anyways, a nice evening and take care, guys.